Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. Hope that was having a good day. Sorry I was late, got caught in the traffic. I will find a better route here in the future. So who in here likes money? Okay, some of y'all didn't raise your hand, so at the end of the day, I'll have a donation box out. If you don't like that money, feel free to give it to me. For everybody else, I have a couple numbers here. 854, that's the average amount of money that Americans spent over the holidays or did in 2012. 5,000, that's the average number of ads seen per day as reported by CBS News in 2009. That includes print and media, TV, everything. 4 to 5 is the average hours per day that Americans watch TV. And 3,300 is the median amount of debt that the average American carries, credit card debt, that is. I say all this to say, if you put all these numbers together, there's kind of a symbiotic relationship. There are 4 entities that are working together, and their goal, quite simply, is to get your money. Sounds pretty sinister, right? Someone's coming for your money, but it's all right. I'm going to try to tell you a little about these entities. The first up was we have the merchants. That's your Best Buy, Target, Walmart, Walgreens, all those places. What they depend on is our weakness, basically our inability to control ourselves from getting what we want. The IRS reported that the #1 reason for financial failure in America is simply the inability to delay gratification. I see it, I want it, I have to have it, period. When I was back in Alabama, I worked with kids, and one of the kids, he had an iPod. It's like a 300 gig iPod. They had just came out with the iPod Touch, and he was saying, oh, I gotta get the iPod Touch, gotta get that. And I was asking him, but you have an iPod, that's 300 gigs, the iPod Touch is only 30. Yeah, but this is a new one, it has a touch screen, it has the games. But you have a phone that plays all the games. Yeah, but this is the iPod Touch, I have to have it. And I couldn't get through to him. It was that simple. He saw it and he had to have it, no matter what kind of logic I presented to him. Basically, merchants create something that you need. Whether you need it or not, they're going to create it. And they're going to rely on some other entities to actually create that need for you. As I talk about this, you have to remember that the merchants are actually not the head. They're not the ones really in charge of this. If you think about something like the Carolina Panthers, the merchandise that you're getting is the entertainment from Cam Newton and the defense on the field. But where's the big money come from? Some is coming from ticket sales, some is coming from parking, but a lot of it, the majority of it is coming from the TV revenue and the ad revenue, selling the naming rights to the stadium and all that big money from ESPN, NBC, and Fox. That's your media, and that's your ad industry. Now, the ad industry, the way they get to us is they rely on our naivete. We have an ability to be led. It's kind of natural, and they tell kindergartners to get up and run around and do that just because that's what they do. We kind of never lose that. If you look at the Axe commercials, you know, if you use Axe, a bunch of beautiful women will descend on you from anywhere. There's a reason that 12 to 15-year-olds almost exclusively wear Axe. It's actually so bad that they have problems with them in middle school. Search Axe effect middle schools, and you'll actually put up a bunch of funny articles. Like schools had to be evacuated because it's gotten into the vents and stuff. So that's how effective the advertising is. It's effective. We also have a tendency to take things at face value. A personal experience, Regions Bank, my bank, not for long. They have standard overdraft coverage. Standard overdraft coverage is if you're overdrafted, they charge you $35. To me, standard would be if I don't have the money, I can't make the purchase. We'll come back to that later though, because it ties in. The problem with advertising is it has a limited effect. We all know that those Etkins is not going to turn us into the most interesting man in the world. So what they have to rely on is the media. Now the media creates the emotional need for the product. So remember, the merchants make the product, the ad industry is going to create the way to sell us the product, but the media creates the environment for all of that to work in. If I think about Regions again, when they started this, the way they advertised on the site was, save yourself the embarrassment. I don't remember what everything else says, but I remember that phrase. The image they're creating in my head is me standing shopping, cart full of groceries there, and I can't pay. And all these people are looking at me and shaking their head, and I walk away without my groceries, embarrassed. And that's what they want to put in your head, so that you click the thing that says, yes, the standard coverage, and not the thing that says, if I don't have the money, don't let me buy it. That's how they work. Now, these two entities work together. They have your target audiences. You know, they'll target beer and man food to the 18 to 49-year-old males, and they'll sell wine and diamonds to your 49 to 64-year-old middle and upper class females. So there's a reason there. There's a reason for everything. Now, what happens when people run out of money and can't buy all this stuff? Well, that's when the kind of the kingpin of this coalition comes in, and that is the credit companies. They make it possible for you to sacrifice your future to get that instant gratification now. We talked about the inability to delay gratification. So their job is to get you into that $3,300 worth of credit card debt and mortgage your future for the things you need now. So to show you how all this plays together, I'll try to do this quickly. GM, the history of GM, in the late 1920s, they had their cars, and they had them in five categories. Chevy was the cheapest, Cadillac was the most expensive. For each model of the car, they marketed it to a certain socioeconomic group. Chevy for the basic, and Cadillac for the most expensive. And the way they marketed it was, after you've gotten your Chevrolet, it's time for you to move up. And move up to the next one, and the next one, and so on, until you spend all of your money getting all 5 cars, and GM seems very happy. So in conclusion, that's just a show of how they work together to get your money. Now that you're aware of that, be a little more aware as you're looking at ads and merchandise.